we have to kick off today with our first guest on the MegaCast on our family of stations and on the West Bloomfield Clerk's Office's Facebook page. We'll begin today's show with the Executive Director of West Bloomfield Parks, Jennifer Tucker. Jennifer, welcome to the program.
Thank you. I'm sorry I had to unmute. I'm not used to that quite yet, even though we've been doing it for 12 or 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, glad to have you with us. You know, it's an adjustment. We're still all adjusting. There's so many new buttons we have to push and so many new things we have to do to navigate this technology in order to still be able to communicate and take care of business as usual. So it's been a while since we've talked with you last. How are you? How's your team at West Bloomfield Parks?
Fantastic. We are seeing a fantastic amount of park users, some new to our area, some that we have seen for years and years. And I was actually out on the trail yesterday. It was like a super highway, but that's fantastic. We want everyone to get out and use our trail. Hiking, biking, it's all fantastic activities at this point in this strange situation we're in.
So as we start to come out of this process and restrictions are being lifted, what's going on at West Bloomfield Parks in terms of the day-to-day operations? At places like the Recreation Activity Center and places like our parks, is it still kind of a skeleton crew, or are people starting to come back to work from home?
So we, some of us are working from home or a combination. As I say, I was in yesterday. Some things still have to happen. But our park maintenance is at full scale. We don't have seasonal help at this point, but all our full-timers are out keeping our park safe and clean for this, trying to keep up with this influx of folks that are really appreciating our parks.
So you mentioned seasonal help that you normally would have at this time of the year. That includes extra staffing for the heavier traffic at the parks. That includes a lot of camps that West Bloomfield Parks and similarly other parks organizations throughout Oakland County tend to have right around this time of year coming forward. Are the parks' camps at West Bloomfield still scheduled to continue? What changes may be going on with those?
Currently, we have not made a decision. Many other park systems have made that decision. We are trying to come up with the most creative possible solutions to some of these things that are going on. We're not exactly sure what that's going to look like, but as the governor comes out and continues to release and make new recommendations, the recommendations we get from Oakland County Health, we will continue to review that. And currently we're looking at, after that June 1 date, to revisit and to see if it's feasible to continue those kinds of camp situations.
So you mentioned earlier on that the weather's better. You're seeing a lot more foot traffic at your parks. It's great to know that people are coming back out and are enjoying the great parks around West Bloomfield, and hopefully in other areas. If you're not watching or listening to us from West Bloomfield, you're doing the same in your area of the county. Are any special precautions being taken by your team currently, or in partnership with the police department, as things begin to warm up and the stay-at-home order is lifted gradually, and to keep these parks safe and maintain those social distancing guidelines?
So we have been doing cleaning as we would. We have particularly high standards generally. Our restrooms are still not open. I know that the gathering has been up to 10 people, but if you know West Bloomfield, 10 people is not enough for us to open some of our bigger amenities, because it would just honestly it draws hundreds. So we definitely, our staff has personal protective equipment that they use every day. We stagger all our schedules. So we have a restoration plan in place. And so we're really conscious of that. I will say that shout out to the West Bloomfield Police. They have been phenomenal. As you know, people are in a state of, I don't even know what to call it, honestly. People are acting differently than they normally would. So we have had some, the West Bloomfield Police has been really great in helping us kind of mitigate those gathering situations or any type of misuse situations. And we're so grateful to them. They are a fantastic partner.
So a lot of the larger facilities that you mentioned, like the ones that you have at Drake Sports Park or the Recreation Activities Center that have activity all throughout the year in normal times, those aren't open. Are any other facilities specifically open, or is it just the parks area necessarily at this time?
Just the green spaces and the trail are still open. And we know that it's very frustrating. I get a lot of requests for tennis. And what people just need to keep in mind, as soon as you open tennis, then you have to open pickleball, then you have to open the skate park. And all of a sudden, we have 1,000 people in the park. And so it's more than just one activity. It's all of those activities together. How many people is that going to generate? And we just want to do everything we can to keep our residents safe and healthy and happy. But unfortunately, we're going to have to take a pause on tennis and pickleball until some of these restrictions are lifted a little bit more.
When these restrictions are lifted, if and when it happens soon, what plans does West Bloomfield have in place for something like pickleball or tennis to maintain social distancing, to prevent from having a long line and a large crowd waiting to play on the courts? Are you working on anything like a scheduling system, so to speak, for those activities when they are safe to reopen?
So for pickleball, our pickleball group actually does have a scheduling system that they do through Google, and which is fantastic. We do leave one court open for people that want to play that don't want to be in that scheduling system. So that situation will occur like it normally does. And it'll be just, basically when they want to play, they have to come and put their paddle in and get in line, so to say. So, but we do know that there's going to be an influx, but we are asking people to have put signage out to maintain those social distances. Think of everyone, including them, their partners that they have come with, and just make sure that we're doing everything we can to, uphold the governor's orders at this point.
In terms of cleaning those courts, Jennifer Tucker, Executive Director of West Bloomfield Parks, with that being the case where there are some scheduled facility uses in that situation with the tennis courts and pickleball, and there is a court open that is first come, first serve, how do you maintain, as West Bloomfield Parks, keeping those facilities clean, even though it's mostly people using their own equipment and they're not really interacting, hopefully, with too much of the fencing and the nets and so on? What is West Bloomfield Parks, and what are maybe other parks throughout Oakland County doing to keep those facilities clean?
So what currently we are doing, because we've had such a big influx of folks coming and enjoying the park, one day a week we are closing a park, so it allows our staff to move freely within the park and not have to be concerned that they are going to interrupt someone's morning walk or their, when they come in, read a book in the park bench. So from 7 o'clock to 11, the park is closed. We do what we do, like little park fairies, and get everything all spiffed up for our guests, and then we reopen the park. So currently, that is what we're needing to do. Hopefully, we will be able to, as things start to open up and people have other focuses like going to work in the morning, we may not see as many folks. And then we can not continue that practice. But until further notice, we are closing for about 4 hours once a week to make sure everything is clean and tidy.
The Oakland County Megacast on our family of TV and radio stations, and also on the West Bloomfield Township Clerk's Office's Facebook page today. We're joined by Jennifer Tucker, the Executive Director of West Bloomfield Parks. So one thing we're really fortunate to have in Oakland County is a lot of great parks throughout all these municipalities, and what makes them great is there's such variety that people can travel between communities. In West Bloomfield, one of the great parks that we have coming up, and still in the initial portions of being built and being arranged, is Splash Landing. Obviously, that's delayed by COVID-19. Any update on where that project is, or when people in West Bloomfield and neighboring areas can expect it to be open and operational?
So yes, it's a mix of sad and happy. We did resume construction, and we are seeing some struggles with getting materials now. So honestly, at this point, I don't think that unless some miracle happens, that Splash Landings will open in 2020, but we will finish the project hopefully by the fall of this year, and then be able to open for spring of next year. That is what our anticipation is at this point. We're hopeful that that everything starts to go a little smoother, and we are able to get more materials, and things are going to start coming back together. But boy, no one saw this coming. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Jennifer Tucker, Executive Director of West Bloomfield Parks. Nobody saw any of this coming. You mentioned earlier that that as of now, your camp programs are on a waiting period as far as whether or not they're going to be in the works this summer. You have a lot of other summer programs that are traditionally going on around this time and in the coming months. Any programs that are in the works, or any modified scheduling for your summer activities currently in the works as we enter this phase of our new normal?
So yes, we do have a couple things that we have already modified, and a couple services that we have started just to make sure that our folks are our seniors that are members of our Connect facility. Staff we do have a support line to them and to any senior in the community. They can give us a call, and a staff member will call them back, whether that's just for a health and wellness check, or if that's just they have a question, or don't know how to use the online grocery app, things like that. We're here to try to help in any way we can that is within our resources, and if not, we can refer them to another resource that may be able to help. As far as programming, we do have a couple things that we're going to try now that we have a 10 and under limit. That would be outdoor yoga. We have a couple other programs that we've actually modified also, which is our curbside pickup for our native plant sale. That's on our website currently also. So all of these things are kind of hot off of the presses, and we're going to give it a go. Everything we've done to this point has sold out in 2 hours or within the day. So we know people are hungry to get out and recreate, and we're going to do as much as we can while adhering to those limits. So if anyone has any questions, please go to our website, www.wbparks.org, and definitely all our information will be on the website.
West Bloomfield Parks Executive Director Jennifer Tucker, anything else that you'd like to say or that we didn't touch on before I let you go?
Just stay safe and stay healthy. Our biggest drive is to make sure that our residents are as adhering to our social distancing and just keeping each other well. And so we really are appreciative of all of our first responders, and that includes our folks within the parks. Our staff is very dedicated, and we just want to make sure that they have we're all adhering to the social distance and having the best experience in the parks that we can at this point.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us, Jennifer Tucker, Executive Director of West Bloomfield Parks.